talking about? What you talking about? What you talking about? What you talking about, Will?
We want your soul.
It really is a time when all of us have got to start talking louder than ever. The rapid speed of, if you like, globalization for world government, world army, world central bank, world currency, world microchip population.
Don't be afraid.
No, be afraid. Be very afraid.
The important thing is to know where they want to take us.
They have to destroy the dollar, destroy the pound, destroy the old order while they've been building the new world order, this technological enslavement system.
The FBI is taking on $1 billion project to gather fingerprints, palm patterns, even digital pictures of faces. Eventually, it could expand to include iris patterns, face shape patterns, scars, even information about how you walk and talk. It's called biometrics.
We want your soul.
You can't handle the truth.
Time to Howl the Wolves. It's Saturday night, May 9, 2026 or 2026. What did they say at the Bilderberg Group?
As you like it.
Keith Temple, Lieutenant Temple, how are you?
Ooh, awesome here Saturday night. Glad to be on.
Coming to you somewhere deep inside the Black Sheep Studios in Jacksonville, Florida. And then we're sending it over to North Carolina. Co-host Dr. Brooks Agnew. You can find him at brooksagnew.com. How are you, Brooks?
Pretty good. Saturday night, no better place to be than Earth.
Damn straight. You survived your awesome motorcycle trek, which we talked
I
about
thrived
last night.
from it. Didn't just survive.
Thrive is the way to say it. That's the way to say it. We might be joined by someone tonight. If not, like I told Brooks before airtime, the three of us got it.
Hello.
Hey, and speak of
Aha!
it. Speak of it.
Oh, this technology.
There
Had
you
to
go, Bob.
situate this phone.
He's fashionably late, Brooks.
It's my Irish hello.
He's no stranger to this show, folks. He has done a lot of stuff that we can't tell you about, but we can tell you that he was boots on the ground at the inception of the Iraq War. Hoo-ah, Bob Austin.
Hoo-ah.
Guys, you know me. I like to start stuff off sometimes with just some fun shit that maybe none of our viewers even give a damn about. But, you know, it entertains me. Hopefully it entertains some other people. I do want to say to all of our great viewers and listeners on X, Rumble, and YouTube, hello, and thank you for tuning in live, or if you check it out from after the show and all this. Being from Louisville, Kentucky, born in Louisville, Kentucky, there's a couple things. You know who the hell Cassius Clay was, and you love the hell out of basketball, and you love the Kentucky Derby. And so last Saturday we totally forgot to mention the Kentucky Derby and all this, but so it was just on my mind, and then I'm gonna segue Brooks and Bob and Keith, an interesting segue. Brooks, you're doing radio, doing your own show for many years. You appreciate a great segue. It's a mystery segue. Tony, I don't know who's feeding back, but someone's feeding back. But let's see here. So the Kentucky Derby happens last Saturday. We forgot to mention it. All this jazz, blah blah blah. These two horses never. They were. I grew up as far as in Louisville, there were Derby parties at my house on Rambo Way. But when these two horses ran the Kentucky Derby, I wasn't even around, But still, the history of the Kentucky Derby and all this, and
Sure.
you just grow up with all that information, and you love the Kentucky Derby. I won my first. We used to put at the Kentucky Derby parties, because there's races all day long. until the running of the roses. And everyone who came over, the cookouts, all this, that you put $1, $1 in the hat and pick your horse and all this jazz. My first one, 3 years old, Sonny's Halo. I made a bet with my Uncle Bob's best friend Terry, and we won. Sonny's Halo won the Kentucky Derby. That's all cool. But anyway, the Michael Jordan of racehorses is hands down Secretariat. You know, and Secretariat won the Kentucky Derby. It's called the fastest 2 minutes in sports. Secretariat ran that in 1 minute and 59 seconds. The only horse to go under 2. But I make an argument, and I'll don't worry, the segue's coming. I'll make an argument that Seattle Slew is just as great as Secretariat. Secretariat won in 73, Seattle Slew won in 77. They both won the Triple Crown. Okay, so they won the Belmont and Preakness after the Kentucky Derby. But Seattle Slew was bought by 3 people who didn't have a lot of dough as a yearling. Most yearlings, they get bought for $100,000 or more. Seattle Slew got bought for $17,500.
Wow.
No one believed in
Good
that
trainer.
horse. Yeah, no one believed in that horse. And it went on to become, Seattle Slew is the only undefeated horse ever.
Oh, wow.
Secretariat lost before the Triple Crown. Seattle Slew was the only undefeated horse. So I just make my my stupid, no one else cares about what I'm talking about thing right there before the segue. I still say Seattle Slew, love Secretariat, Seattle Slew, best damn horse ever. But they were both colts. They were both males. There's only 2.
Wasn't Seattle Slew like related to Secretariat?
No.
Okay.
No, Seattle Slew sired Swale, who won the Kentucky Derby and the Preakness, and then died before the Belmont. Everyone thought Swale was going to be, the Triple Crown winner again.
Yeah, I don't think you could buy a colt for 17,000 if they were the offspring of Secretariat.
Oh yeah, that had to be.
I did see this year that 19 of the 20 horses were sired by Secretariat or whatever his offspring. However they do it.
The lineage down the
Seattle
line.
Slew was the only one I remember, to be honest with you, because that was, and I didn't grow up in Louisville. I grew up in the Southeast, and horse racing wasn't a big thing, but I do remember the year Seattle Slew, and here in terms of the Preakness, the Kentucky Derby,
Yeah.
and probably the most celebrated horse in my lifetime, probably ours, all of ours, maybe, I don't know. Secretariat, Man of War, but Seattle Slew, I remember that one.
I saw some pictures of Secretariat just on my social media in the last week or two, and what a beast! I mean, I didn't recognize before, but man, there were some close-up pictures of the muscle definition and size. Oh, what an amazing animal!
Seattle Slew, he was an incredible athlete. If you look at, Secretariat, but if you look at Seattle Slew, he's the biggest fucking horse there's ever been. This big black colt that looked like a comic book superhero if there was a superhero horse.
Like a quarter
That's what
horse
was
and a
weird about
Clydesdale.
Golden Temple just looked like an ordinary horse, and he was running dead last. And then the jockey just turned him on, and he just took off, and
Yeah.
ends up going from first. And it was funny because when the jockey was being interviewed by the reporterette, they were actually riding beside each other, and she was interviewing him. He had his goggles up on his riding helmet, and they were covered in dirt. He was riding drag for half the race.
That's Yeah, that was a great race, a huge comeback. Which Secretariat was known for starting out last and just fucking kicking everybody's ass. You know, Seattle Slew just always went out first and just stayed first.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was a great race, Brooks. There's only 2 fillies to ever win the Kentucky Derby. So only 2 female horses to ever win the Kentucky Derby, and that's Genuine Risk and Winning Colors. Neither of them ever went on to win the Triple Crown. So it's all male
hard
horses.
to win because there are horses that don't run the Derby that do run the Preakness and Belmont, and they're better at those races,
Mm-hmm.
and they're not wore out from running the Derby. So that's why it's very hard to win all 3, because very, very fast horses run the Preakness and Belmont.
Oh yeah,
Right.
that's why it's few and far between. I have my Derby glass right here, which has every single winner ever since 1875.
Oh wow!
So it has, and the Triple Crown winners. I mean, holy shit, there's not a lot of them. And from, let's see, from Citation won in 1948 the Triple Crown, and then there was not a Triple Crown winner again until Secretariat in 73, and then Seattle Slew in 77. And then Affirmed won actually the next year. Affirmed won the Triple Crown, but and then there's just a void until I don't know. I think it's 2012, but no fillies have won a Triple Crown. This is my segue. Bob's going to appreciate this a little bit. In the special, I told Keith before airtime, some people were going to think that I'm being some chauvinistic asshole. I'm not. I'm just talking about the truth, right? I think there's a reason why mainly only Colts win versus fillies, but genuine Risk and Winning Colors had to be some spectacular female athlete horses to win. In the special operations community, there's been nine women who have tried to become Navy SEALs, for example. None of them ever made it through first phase. And those are just facts. And if you graduate BUDS, you're not even a Navy SEAL anyway. It's 2 years of SQT, SEAL qualification training, and you don't have your Trident until you do that. And then Sean Ryan, the first time he was on the show, Scott Hare, if you're listening, he's gonna laugh his ass off at me, and we miss Scotty Hare, and hurry up and get back on the show and all that, and we keep our prayers for Adam Earth. Scott Hare and I had a conversation one night after Sean was on. He's been on numerous times, but it was before Sean Ryan got the Sean Ryan show, and we were just laughing our ass off. It's like we bring people on, and then they get a show, and it gets way bigger than ours. It's hilarious. But the first time Sean was on, he was explaining, about becoming a SEAL and all this, and BUDS is just attrition. That's all it is. It has nothing to do with being a SEAL. Just attrition, and then you if you pass SQT, which is 2 years of SEAL qualification training, then you get your Trident, and then you're assigned to a SEAL team, but you're just a SEAL on paper. You're still training with that team you're assigned to for a year before you can ever go out on a actual mission with them. And I asked him about females, and he's like, I have no problem with females trying to become, get into the SEAL community and any of that, but it's just not going to happen unless Naval Special Warfare Command decides to, and Bob, I would think same thing with the Army, decides to lower their standards at getting into Delta You know, I mean,
Yep.
don't you see? I mean, you can't lower your standards. I think if Trump was not didn't win his third term, I think those standards, we'd have some like shitty Navy SEALs and Delta operators right now.
Well, there's been a lot of controversy over the years with the lowering of the standards for the Rangers. That's politics. I wasn't there. I don't know. I've seen, this is a small unicorns out there that could possibly do it. Just in my opinion, because it's rigorous. No matter who you are.
Can't run. They can shoot. I've been next to several that can shoot really well, but they can't run. They can't fight. They don't have the upper body strength to do any of the frogman activities. And they just, it's not going to happen. It's just not going to happen.
Yeah. Personally, I think it's a liability.
Physically, they're just built differently, and
Yeah,
I mean, you got male and female marathon runners. I mean, that's the whole gains issue, with the NCAA and the swimming and all that. And there's some phenomenal, and they do as well as they are with their genetics, but,
Look at the 15-year-old soccer team boys that go up against professional female soccer teams and just slaughter.
Yes, and over multiple matches, the teenage boys have beat national ranked female teams, and fairly easily, and it is what it is.
Well, the acclimation of the females into combat MOSs, that's not, it's relatively new, but to go into special operations, if you think of the team is only as strong as its weakest link.
That's the point right there.
Yes.
And one weak link breaks the team. And when missions are based on results, I understand the politicization of it. What was it, the movie with Demi Moore?
G.I. Jane.
Yeah.
There you go.
Hollywood.
Well, there you go. But that's set, and there you go, man.
Well, I graduated from the Naval Academy in 1986, and I believe women were first introduced into the Naval Academy in 1980. And so it's a strange relationship that every, I guess, 3 or 4 years, 3 years, I guess, your seniors called firsties have with their plebes. And so our firsties were the first group of people who had females over them, I guess. I believe I have my dates correct. But as Bob kind of indicates, 1980 was the first group of female individuals that were allowed into the Naval Academy. And I don't remember how many there were. There may have been 12 or 15 or so, and and those types of things. But
and how many of them made it out?
Right.
But now, going special operations, there's a difference.
It's a different animal.
Arms, I don't know, man. Everybody, you want somebody, a thunderfoot on your side that's going to kick that door open instead of worrying about, hey, where's Jan? Have you seen Jan?
Right.
I don't know. But
what are you calling 911 for? We're in Afghanistan. Get off the phone.
There's no crying in special operations.
There you go.
How did you get a camel to get out here with Uber Eats?
Well.
Anyway, that sounds bad, but I have seen. I'm honestly, I've seen women in places that were, and then I can't even explain it because without probably making myself look a little bad, but I wasn't expecting much, and I can't even say what but women can hump a 60.
There you go.
They damn sure can. I've seen it, and that's I was surprised.
Hey, like Brooks brought it up, and then so did, and of course you articulated it, Bob, and so did Keith. I mean, it's just there's certain standards, especially we're talking about spec ops. It's just different. It's a different animal, period, and it's the physicality of it. Once again, if you're going to lower the standards, you can't lower the standards. And so I think that was all articulated very well by the three of you. But I've said on this show, plain and simple, I know some badass JSO officers who are females.
Yeah.
I mean, as far as law enforcement, there's some. I've made fun of some female law enforcement officers on this show. But I did turn around and say exactly that I know some really badass female law enforcement officers who are absolutely awesome. But Bob, I got to tell you this one, and then just to stay in the that way they can people can hate you and me, thinking that we're bashing on chicks. Brooks will probably remember this. I told this story. I mean, I watch a bunch of law enforcement videos because my YouTube feed is the most eclectic feed, man. There's music on it. There's food, cooking, law enforcement videos, and a bunch of stuff from Keith. But there's this one video of there's the sergeant's a male officer, and the female is behind him, and they're clearing this house. I forget exactly who they're looking for. They're just clearing the house, but you got the body cams on both of them, and the sergeant who's in front, there's a hallway to the left. He looks down the hallway and he says clear, and keeps walking. And then the female officer gets up to the hallway, looks to her left, and shoots herself. Because at the end of the hallway was a huge full-length mirror against the wall. Her sergeant said clear. He realized that's a mirror, and that's me. He already said clear. She saw someone in the mirror and killed the mirror. That's fine. I mean, listen, every male officers fuck up too. That was just a funny story. It could have been a male officer who did it. It's just a funny story. Once again, so people don't hate me, I know badass Jacksonville Sheriff's Office officers who are female, and that's still hard to say, Bob. I mean, you were spending some time in Jacksonville when your little brother and I were in high school.
Yeah.
Isn't it hard? It's that's just a maybe Keith knows. I don't know. Jacksonville Sheriff's Office officers, because Jacksonville Sheriff, it's the sheriff's office, but they're also the police. Because they merged, the PD merged with the sheriff's office back in the late 70s or early 80s. So that's why on JSO's interceptors it says Jacksonville Sheriff's Office on the sides, and on the back it says police. So it's weird, it's confusing, because you have JSO officers who, the interdiction units, for example, wearing their vest outside, they're kitted up outside instead of inside of their shirt. Some of them say deputy and some of them say police. It's like, make up your mind. But it's been that way forever, that they're the sheriff's department and the PD.
Yeah, well, I learned back in the 80s, I didn't know the difference. I know what you're talking about, sheriff and police. I just know that it's just best to smile and move along.
Bob.
Because they weren't playing, kind of a deal. And I've heard people talk about Rodney King back then. And I knew white guys that got worse than that in Jacksonville, Florida. So I like the police and I trust the police. And whether you disagree or anything with whatever, their job is to let you tell your story to a judge and don't,
So Chad,
yeah.
educate me, because of what Bob is saying is where I'm kind of at a little bit, is Jacksonville sheriffs, they report to the governor, and the police report to the mayor. Is that the distinction, or?
No, the Jacksonville Sheriff's Office, Keith, is the police and the sheriff's office.
Yeah, but aren't sheriffs elected?
Yes,
And police are
sheriff.
appointed.
No, Sheriff T.K. Waters. Every sheriff in this city is always elected. T.K. Waters doesn't answer to the mayor at all.
Okay.
Not at all. That's why I'm glad it's a sheriff's office. I'm just saying, it was the late 70s or early 80s, long before I got here, the departments merged into the Jacksonville Sheriff's Office, but it still says police on the back of their interceptors, and on the side it says Jacksonville Sheriff's Office.
So T.K. Waters is the Jacksonville sheriff.
Yeah?
Is there a chief of police?
No, because it's just the Jacksonville Sheriff's Office.
Okay.
Yeah, that's a good question. I've never heard of a chief of police.
There has never been chief of police in Jacksonville. It's the sheriff.
But there are in other cities, chief of police.
Right, and they would answer. They're not elected; they're appointed by the mayor.
Yes.
And that's why they answer to the mayor. But
Right.
the sheriff does not answer to the mayor. Like this chick who somehow got elected, excuse me, who cheated on her husband.
Donna Deegan.
But Bob, you remember Donna Deegan? Or
I know her well. Not biblically well, but I know her well, yes.
remember Dan Hicken, right?
I know him well.
Yeah, so Dan Hicken is still. This is just crazy because ever since I was a little kid.
What was it, Doug Deegan?
Tim Deegan.
Tim Deegan, that's right.
So Tim Deegan's the weatherman ever since he came to my San Jose Catholic grade school when I was in 6th grade. He was the weatherman, and he's still the weatherman, and Dan Hicken was the head sports guy when I was 10 years old when I moved here, and he's still the head sports guy. But
yeah.
Donna Deegan used to be Donna Hicken, and she she's an news anchor, married to the sports guy, but she ends up cheating on Dan Hicken, the sports guy, with the weather guy, Tim Deegan. So now she's Donna Deegan, but they all kept working together at the same news station.
Kind of like Anchorman.
Yeah, it's crazy. But now somehow she's the mayor of Jacksonville, and it doesn't really add up because she's extremely woke.
But she is also the niece, I believe, of Tommy Hazouri, the ex-mayor.
Oh,
Who
really?
who was a Republican.
Well, and I was going to throw this out, is that, in my opinion, and that's strictly my opinion.
T.K. Waters, real quick. Sheriff T.K. Waters does not get along with Donna Deegan.
I can imagine that.
Yeah, no doubt.
No, but I was going to say that I think the reason that Donna Deegan was elected mayor is because the Republican Party in Jacksonville put up a pretty suspect candidate who, was involved with a whole bunch of corruption with JEA and that kind of stuff. And I think a lot of people kind of got turned off and either didn't vote for him or didn't vote or whatever. I mean,
They can trust a news anchor they've seen for fucking 30 years or something.
Right. I'm just saying is I don't think
the collusion between the city and the only power company I mean, there's something to it. Brooks, where you live in North Carolina, you probably got Duke Power up there. I don't know, just guessing.
Oh, yeah.
But this is the city that's in bed with the only electric company in Jacksonville, and where there's smoke, there's fire. There's been a lot of people resigning and fired from, they were trying to sell it. Remember that?
Right. Right.
A lot of corruption.
Right. And I think the Republican candidate for mayor was tied into that, at least
Tim
allegedly.
Davis. Wasn't it Davis?
I'm not sure who.
I think it was. And Tim Davis, if you weren't running, that's my fault, and don't worry about it. Any Tim Davis is out there.
And we're talking about the other guy.
Yeah.
Mayoral race.
Good,
Mayoral race. What do you think about this race in LA between Kim Bass?
Wow, isn't that's made
Brooks, did you see that debate? He just wiped the floor with those two.
He mopped the floor with her. And then the news company chopped it up and shrunk it into 5-minute sound bites where he didn't sound so good.
Yeah.
And he made them air the whole 60-minute debate, and he just killed her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So she's spending something like, I don't know how many millions of dollars on her campaign. He's spending nothing. He's just doing a lot of clever productions. The first commercial he made to get into the race, he's sitting on a couch, like this. And then the camera pans back, and it's his house, and it's completely destroyed. And so that immediately picked up. Now he lives in an Airstream trailer on his burned out property. So he is killing it, just killing it. Everybody loves him. He's got ads on billboards in Georgia, for crying out loud.
It's going to be an interesting midterms. 6 months from now, whatever, 5 months from now, whatever it is. Boy, I don't know. I'm looking forward to a election night special show.
I'm scared. I'm scared for the first time in a long time. Democrats have lost so much ground. They've lost all the redistricting battles. They've lost their Act Blue money. They've lost their BLM money. They've lost their Planned Parenthood money. They've lost their USAID money. All these down ballot candidates are either resigning or saying they're not going to run again. Mayors, governors, it's unbelievable how many are bailing out. And you think, oh, well, happy days, right? No. This is when Democrats get very violent. This is when they ratchet up the violence and they make you pay because they don't like losing.
Yeah, I mean, I think Bob articulated that in a prior show. And
when Barack Obama was president, I really don't want to, but Barack Obama was destroying the Democrat Party. They lost thousands of seats in all levels of the Democrat Party. And what happened? Every other week, we had a violent school shooting.
Yeah.
It's just what they do. It's just what they do.
Yep.
We can't say it, otherwise YouTube will ban us forever. We can't talk about one of those violent school shootings that were staged. Anyway.
Or the shooter's connection to a big bank fraud over in England. It's the son. Anyway. Oh.
Yeah, anyway.
Well, what about this new virus on the cruise ship? I mean, that's what concerns me. I mean, it's like I'm rereading the chapter on COVID. I mean,
real quick.
Keith, relax. Don't worry about it. I'm sure there's a vaccine available.
Yeah,
from Merck and Johnson and Johnson and whatever. Yeah.
None of
mRNA.
It's not coronavirus. It's not transmissible unless you actually touch the other person and exchange fluids with them. That's why it doesn't spread very fast.
It's a virus, but since it's a virus, none of you great viewers and listeners are allowed to do anything that Brooks and I do. You're not allowed. Never ever do what Brooks and I do. Never take colloidal silver. Never take ivermectin. Never. Don't you do it. Because it just kills viruses, but only for Brooks and I. It's not going to help any of you. See how I did that, Brooks?
Yeah.
We'll see
Hey, Lord,
if
to the
AI
fact you get
understands the
shipping on the
sarcasm.
website.
Go to brooksagnew.com. There's awesome stuff there, including all of his great books and a lot of other awesome stuff. But the hantavirus, you know, this is something. I saw a video. I'm glad you brought that up, Keith. I saw a fucking TikTok. I'm not on TikTok. I don't watch it. I watch a certain dude on YouTube, Salty Cracker, which producer Tony.
Yeah, he's good.
Oh yeah. So I watch him, and he was showing this TikTok video of this chick wearing a respirator mask.
Oh, I saw that.
You saw that too? Everyone needs to go back to wearing masks.
She had the little rainbow T-shirt
Yeah,
on. Yeah.
And purple hair,
Yeah.
green hair, whatever.
I saw the same girl at Home Depot buying Visqueen and duct tape. A la Amerithrax.
Wow.
Remember Amerithrax?
Right.
Yeah, right after 9/11.
Anthrax.
Well, they call it. It's actually they have a name for it. It's called Amerithrax. When 9/11, when they sent the anthrax in the mail to all the
Yeah.
people questioning 9/11, calling
Right. Well, that was a big justification for us going in to get Saddam Hussein because he's one of the only people that could manufacture that and then find out it's some kook in Virginia or someplace.
Well, the first person was wrongly accused. It
Well,
was,
but they pulled out the fact that he had used nerve agent on Iran.
Right.
That was their.
yeah.
That's how they connected the dots. Nerve agent that was. Anyway, you know how it went.
The whole Al-Qaeda thing back then, right after the inside job at 9/11, when the anthrax attacks came, it was right after the inside job at 9/11. So that was to get America, keep them in that whole fear factor, if you will. Shout out Joe Rogan. But that whole fear factor of Al-Qaeda is hiding behind every fucking stop sign. You know, and that's where people started. Microwave your mail. Remember that? Put your mail in the microwave to kill the anthrax spores. I mean, holy shit! But it was all.
What was it being sent to? Tom Daschle.
Yeah.
Star Magazine.
Yeah.
Was it Star or whatever? One of them, National Enquirer magazines. It was in Orlando or something. And a couple other politicians and people that had called for they wanted an inquiry in 9/11.
Well, and I think a couple of them, they found out it was baby powder is just a hoax, But
It was still, what I'm saying. It was on purpose. It was orchestrated to facilitate, to keep the American public in shock and scared, and so that way they can go ahead and say, you need the naked body scanner at the airport. You need to take your shoes off at the
we
airport.
need NSA to be able to monitor all of your communications.
We need the Patriot Act.
The
Everything.
Patriot Act. Every year since, right?
Yeah. The National Authorization Act. Everything, over and over again. Yeah, and I don't know how
things are getting better.
There's hope. There's hope, dude. All right, there's a new hope. Not Luke Skywalker with Barack Obama. Did you guys see that fucking commercial for his stupid presidential library? That looks like the dumbest.
It looks like the Temple of Doom.
It does.
It looks like a North Korean guard tower.
Oh, gracious.
It looks horrible. And you're right, Brooks. I mean, it might as well be North Korean guard tower without any lights, because it's North Korea. Yeah, that's crazy. It's just, but that was I don't know if you guys saw that or not, but that was just the most, you know how much money they probably spent producing that ad?
I think Barry's up in Canada right now meeting with Carney.
Could be.
Barry
You heard
is?
that? No, he is.
Okay.
Obama's up there in Canada
No.
talking with Carney and
Art Carney?
the show must go on.
Might as well be, yeah.
Talking to Carney. I need to keep up with my Canadian government stuff.
Isn't he the Canadian that replaced or came after Trudeau?
Shit, I didn't even know Trudeau was out of office.
He's hooked up with Katy Perry, man. Where you been?
Not in Canada.
I hear Alberta continues to gain signatures to, I guess, secede. I mean,
I've heard the same.
I'm not so sure that they want to join the U.S., but they just want to be their own independent, landlocked country. Which, hey, good on them.
Yeah, why not? Go for it, damn it. Get away from the
Quebec and Montreal and Nova Scotia and whatever else.
Be done with the England monarchy royalty stuff that controls you and still us.
What's his name? It's not Trudeau. It starts with an M, doesn't the current prime minister? I thought his name was started with.
I rely on Brooks to let me know about this stuff, Bob, and he never gave me the email that Trudeau's out. Damn it, Brooks.
Well, who's the prime minister of England?
Starmer?
Is that Carney?
No, Starmer.
Starmer, Keir Starmer. Yeah, so it is Carney that's in Canada. So why is Barack Obama meeting with the Prime Minister of Canada right now?
Because he's going to be the Prime Minister of Canada.
Well, because he's the major puppet of the New World Order or the syndicate or whatever you want to call it, and I think they're scrambling.
Yeah, there's oof.
Well,
Read the tea leaves.
Brooks is like just always right, and that's plain and simple. And he said it, a good while ago. I mean, Barry really never got out of office when Jimmy Jim was the puppet of the United States.
No, he was behind most of the stuff going on.
Yeah.
I just Googled it there, Bob. It says, as of May 9th, 2026, Mark Carney is the 24th Prime Minister of Canada. So,
He's just now, today.
I don't know if
So Barack Obama's congratulating him. How weird.
At least I'm not that damn far behind. I thought maybe this guy's been in office for a year, and I'm like totally oblivious. Wow. Well, there's got to be something behind that, Brooks. I'm sure the Super Friends, everyone, Bob, you're part of the Super Friends. We still haven't heard from you. I understand, but I'm sure we're going to uncover it. Yeah.
Iran is of no consequence to the world at all.
Yep.
Did we drop you, Brooks?
No, I'm here. I just said Iran is of no consequence to the world.
Right.
Nothing is happening. Nothing's going on. There's a lot of bluster, but I launched a couple little speedboat attacks against 3 just getting their lunch fed to them on the bottom of the ocean. The big thing about Iran right now is everybody wants that uranium back, but the global syndicate doesn't want them to get that uranium back. I believe our CIA was involved in feeding that uranium to Iran so they could build it and become a world terrorist organization.
Isn't that so sick?
That just blows my freaking mind.
Oh,
and I think right now is Iran is under orders, no matter what, no matter who you have to sacrifice, don't give up the uranium. Because as soon as the uranium is in their hands, all your cards are gone, which they're gone already. But the main thing is they do a nuclide scan on that uranium and find out where it came from. If it came from a U.S. reactor through Hillary Clinton and Uranium One and
Yeah,
Rosatom and
yeah.
Westinghouse, all that, it's going to be fucking hell to pay. It'll be there. They will set the firing squad up and they will start shooting people. That's how bad it is. That's why Iran is under orders. Whatever you do, don't give that uranium back.
Well, just
we're
for
gonna-
our viewers,
we're gonna
remember
keep
that
that uranium.
Hillary, when she was Secretary of State, sold
correct.
to Russia 20% of the U.S.'s uranium. And what you're
Well, their
indicating,
uranium processing capability, which that was a Westinghouse acquisition.
No,
that-
no. Hillary sold it to a Canadian company, which was owned by Russia.
Well, Rose was owned by Russia. Uranium One was owned by Frank Giffrey, which was the deal that Bill Clinton went to Kazakhstan and set up.
There you
So
go.
once the acquisition, that $45 million was put into the Clinton Foundation. It's in my book, Jarmo Pagan, page by detail by detail. And James Comey was involved, Mueller was involved, and if that's the uranium in Iran, there'll be fucking hell to pay. Way worse than Epstein. They're gonna wish Epstein was all they were.
And how do we get to that point? Because they're going to do everything. They're going to throw everything in the kitchen sink from letting that ever be discovered, including nukes, in my opinion.
We have to go in and get it. We have to use our UFO technology or whatever we got to do to blink in there, get it, and blink out. We've got to go in there and get it. That uranium cannot go in the wind. It just cannot go in the wind.
right. Well, it's kind of like when Russia, when the Berlin Wall fell apart, we were very concerned about what occurred, with the instability of their nukes. I mean, in other words, when that type of stuff is out there to terrorists and the highest
Because
bidder,
Ukraine had them and Kazakhstan had them and I believe Belarus had them. And now they're all back in Russia.
yeah.
Real quick, go ahead, Keith, if you were
No,
finishing up.
go ahead, Chad.
Brooks, you brought up an extremely important point right there, and so did Bob. And I had to write down Gary Webb, the name Gary Webb.
See the guy that got killed?
Gary Webb.
Well,
Like the Clinton associate in that?
no, Gary Webb outed. He won the Pulitzer Prize, and they fucking took it from him after he won it for investigative journalism. He's the one who broke the fact that the CIA was the biggest drug smuggler into the United States.
Correct.
And then
Crack epidemic.
and then Gary Webb decided to shoot himself in the back of the head a number of times.
I remember that.
Yeah. They made a great movie about Gary Webb. I can't believe it was even made. It was called Kill the Messenger. Everyone should go watch it. But the facts are the facts. That Gary Webb is the dude who broke the fact that the CIA was the biggest drug smuggler into the United States. Brooks is bringing up the fact that the CIA, it's been fucking rogue ever since. There's a guy I remember who may have been shot in the head, maybe, in front of a bunch of people in Daley Plaza, Dallas, Texas, Friday, November 22, 1963. May have been. And that guy may have been president of the United States, and he may have said something like, I'm just paraphrasing, I'm going to splinter the CIA into 1,000 pieces and cast it to the wind.
John F. Kennedy.
Yeah.
And then Nixon was asked about it, and he dodged the question, but he wanted to do it as well. And guess who else came from the CIA that's been a thorn in politics side?
Daddy Boy?
Spanberger, the new governor of Virginia, she came from the CIA.
Ooh.
She scares me. I mean,
Oh yeah.
She's evil. I mean, I thought Hillary Clinton was the most evil person I've ever seen. That lady, I think she puts Hillary to shame.
Yeah, well,
fortunately, she's only going to serve one term, but
I agree. And
we came very, very close to her doing something terrible.
oh, thank goodness the Virginia Supreme Court stepped up and said, "Hey, all these campaign promises that you broke, you can do those on certain things, but there's certain things in our Constitution about how some process is going, and you're not going to do this shifting of the districts."
Bob Austin and I, with Bob's background stuff, and we were talking about special operations, spec ops, and towards the beginning of the show, because Seattle SLU and Secretariat were both special operator horses. You're supposed to laugh. Okay, but we were talking about spec ops a little bit earlier, and Bob and I did an entire show one day a good number of years ago, when it was just Bob and I. Drake was out, and Bob will remember this, I'm sure, because he wanted to fucking talk about it, especially with the whole Army thing. This involves the fucking company too. Say the company, that's what it's called. It's called the company. Sean Ryan, when he was on the show, he was talking about when he worked for the company. This is CIA. Pat Tillman, Bob.
Oh, I got something to tell you, but go ahead.
So Bob and I did an entire show. Bob was really fucking pissed when they killed Pat. And
Tillman?
Pat Tillman. He was an Army Ranger, special operator.
Football player.
I remember that.
What an American hero and patriot.
Yeah, but that was not fratricide. It was a fucking homicide. It wasn't friendly fire. It was a homicide. But I'm just saying, Pat Tillman was writing home to his family and friends.
But who else was he talking to, Chad? And this is where I'm going to segue into this.
Noam
Who was he talking to?
Chomsky.
There you go.
Yeah, but let me just get the point across real quick about the fucking company, and then you can take over. He was writing home to friends, family, and Noam Chomsky that the Army Rangers come and they catch the Taliban, and then this was the CIA's poppy fields that they were trying to destroy. And so he's writing home about the fact that they're not being allowed to, being made to let the Taliban go. Because the CIA, you're fucking with the CIA's, they come in. He was writing home talking about, we watch the CIA planes come into Afghanistan, they load up with the poppy, and then they fly it out and goes right back to the United States and elsewhere. That's the CIA's fucking drug money. And when it got word that Pat Tillman's fucking spilling the beans, all of a sudden he gets friendly fire at what was it? Three triple tap
to the dome.
Yeah, triple tap, 5 feet away, friendly fire my ass.
Now here's the thing that I was thinking about this today, because this news broke yesterday. You were talking about the company, and Pat Tillman and his name recognition. He'd already served in Iraq for 9 months or a year before he went to Afghanistan. So he was figuring shit out, and Noam Chomsky was his outlet, dude. Because imagine how that worked. But here's the thing: Noam Chomsky's on the Epstein list. Oh, he's on the files. So tell me about the company, and tell me about how Pat Tillman's dead, and how he was charging up the hill, and George Bush and W sat there. He was charging the hill, and they burned his clothes and hid his shit. And I asked a friend of mine, he's a master sergeant in SF, and he was there at the time, and he said, I heard it was fragging, There you go. There you go. So but I can't. I'm not going to say any names, but these are, when shit don't add up, and people in the theater and what the feeling is, and I probably don't have those connections anymore at all, but I know, yeah, man. And it's just ironic that all the information that he fed Noam Chomsky, and he gets clipped.
Yep.
He was thinking that was just safe out. Dude, like he was doing something.
Yeah.
And trust no one. Follow orders. A soldier's job is to do or die. A soldier's job is never question why. There you go. Hoo-ah.
That's one of the first things you taught me, Bob. When way back in the day, you were like, listen, trust you in the military. You can't really trust anybody because if you what did you tell me? One conversation you said all those people with brass, they're fucking politicians.
Mm-hmm.
That's true.
I have my 40th Naval Academy graduation coming up this fall, and I have several very close classmates that are multiple star generals or admirals, either in the Marine Corps or the Navy. And I have some sit across the table, eyeball to eyeball. I knew you when you were 19, 20, 21 years old, and I have some questions, and I want to see how they respond to some things.
Be careful with your questions, Keith.
No shit.
What the hell am I going to do? They're going to send me to heaven? I mean,
I don't know, man. They're on a different level. I remember a dinner with 4 colonels, and yeah, they're on a totally different level. And the conversation at dinner was politics, because each one of those colonels wanted that star.
yeah. I get it, but I'm going to try to appeal, and I might not be successful, to some early, hey, I knew you 40 years ago.
Yeah.
When we were all running the obstacle course, and I want some straight, skinny, man
What
to
have you
man.
seen, boy? Tell me what you seen.
Yeah,
Was the juice worth the squeeze?
there you go.
How many times did you sell your soul? How many lies have you told? I don't know, man.
Right.
Because you do.
Mm-hmm.
You do.
Well,
Without question. That's what a soldier does. And hey, you Annapolis guys, the West Pointers in the Army, we call them ring knockers.
yeah, we do that too. Our ring's a little bit bigger than theirs, and then I think
Imagine that.
and I think the Citadel is third, but I think the Naval Academy was the number one, gross size of that. And I had my ring for a long time, Bob, and I'll tell you, boy, I had daughter. I had breakfast with my oldest daughter, who played college soccer, captain of her team for a couple of years and such. And during my divorce and bankruptcy and all that, I sold my Naval Academy ring for about $500 so that I could buy her some cleats and fund her soccer to do that. And I think about that, and my mom begged me not to. My mom begged me, said, please don't sell your Annapolis ring. Please don't do
And then you see the price of gold today.
Oh, it's crazy. I probably would have got $5,000 for it now, but
Right.
But my issue is no, Mom, this is something I need to do. I need to move on from that. It's more than just the $500 or whatever.
It's your past.
It was the restructuring of me as a person. So anyway, we go through
What's
that.
important?
Right. Exactly.
Wants and needs, and the things in my past. It was a cool experience, but I got to let it go. Hey, I can make a little coin.
Right.
Whatever.
Right.
I get it.
Yeah, right. And
100%.
I know, and it's something like you say is you just kind of have to experience and go through. But I hope there's some degree of accountability, and I'm not so concerned about the accountability. I mean, I hope there's accountability, but I'm hoping, man, that this administration has the ability to kind of clean house as much as it can, to get as much of that out as it can.
Well, that's what they were voted in for, and because I think we're at a point now. I mean, we're talking about AI and stuff like that. Well, dude, I think that the population is catching up with the bullshit.
I think so.
Yeah.
I hope so.
Nicely said, Bob. Holy shit. Yeah, they are. They are. I have to, like, I'm going to push back on this again with the Brooks bringing up the company. That's like the huge fucking problem with fixing shit, because they're so embedded with the global syndicate, the New World Order, the CIA.
Yeah.
You know?
Putin's afraid. He said so.
Yeah, I mean, this has been a structural problem for a long time. That's why I brought up David Plaza, you know, with 35 with JFK. That dude knew what the fuck was going on, and that's why he said what he said. That's why he made that speech at the American Press Club, you know, that so many people don't know about, that should be taught in colleges but never will be. You know, we were opposed around the world by a monolithic and ruthless conspiracy. What? That was never taught to me in history book. Yeah, I know. It's a speech that they don't want you to ever hear.
Absolutely. Well, you think of Tillman, you know, Pat Tillman, you know, NFL player, didn't have to. Bob, I'll say, probably made of a lot of the same strand that hey, man, I want to do the right thing for my country because I love America.
Left the NFL.
Left the NFL to go join the military, to go do that. What was he? A lieutenant? I mean, you know, he was a...
he was a specialist. He had a $4 million contract. He was a cornerback, a safety for the St. Louis Cardinals, or Arizona Cardinals.
Yeah.
And him and his brother, and his brother was a minor league baseball player. Good athletes, obviously, and they both went to Rangers. And his actual little brother was in the same vicinity of the operation where Pat was killed, and so he heard the chatter too. So it's a sad thing, the way that his death. And if you think about it, what was that movie, Inglourious Bastards? About the French War, or the German War, he read they were making a movie about, and he was against the shit. But anyway, it kind of resembled that, but it was an American NFL. I'm not saying he was a superstar, but he had a $4 million contract back then. You know,
he's pretty good. But my point being is that.
For his country.
You don't have to be extremely senior. All you have to do is have some integrity and your eyes open. And then all of a sudden you see it. And then if you try to expose it, then all of a sudden you're silenced.
They'll kill you. And I always looked at Noam Chomsky as his relief valve. I think that's who he was leaking his information to, Chad. I think you would agree.
Mm-hmm.
But when you're talking about this same guy, and Noam Chomsky's been around, what was he, a mathematician or something? Been around since Vietnam War, being a protester, whatever he is. I don't know. Really never heard of him until this point. Oh, yeah. Well-respected person. Why is Pat Tillman communicating with Noam Chomsky? And the point you were talking about,
because he's anti-war.
They went to invade a village. The Rangers went to invade a village, capture these Talibanis. American helicopters landed in that place that took the people that were out away, evacuated them, and then they went to another village and wasted them. Kind of sound like Melee Massacre.
Yeah.
Yep.
Being honest, that's the last I ever heard of that. That was was talking about. But
But
the point.
Bob, hold on right there, because Bob, hold on right there and let your phone reset because you're just breaking up. But you made a perfect point with the Melee Massacre. Bottom line, and I think Bob will agree with me here. Obviously, I mean, listen, Brooks, you got me on the CIA, man, and now you're gonna get me killed because I won't shut the fuck up about the fucking company. But that's the evil crap that's fucking infesting this country right now. There's no reason to have them around anymore. Just like we can also get rid of the Department of Homeland Security, which is a creature of the inside job at 9/11. Just like we could get rid of the Patriot Act.
Well, they have skills. And I think if there was anybody that could go into Iran and get that uranium out, it would be the CIA, but I don't think they'll do it.
Right. You're the one that brought this up, Brooks, because the CIA wants it there.
Want that uranium hidden.
Yeah. I'm saying, I'm giving you total credit, Brooks. You're the one that got me on this whole CIA thing because the CIA wants the uranium there. So we're fighting. There's like this back and forth between the good side and supposedly the good side. The CIA is supposed to be the good side somehow, which I have never seen the CIA do anything other than do shit in Davie Plaza, do shit in Afghanistan, kill Gary Webb, do shit at the Ambassador Hotel, which ended up. Oh, that's right. They killed JFK Jr. They killed. Well, they probably did kill JFK Jr. But they killed JFK's brother Bobby. And that's what I've seen the CIA do. I see them do a lot of fucked up shit that has nothing to do with helping this country. So now I'm going to shut up about the CIA.
Well, I mean, I think this goes back to.
There are other ideas about why Kennedy was killed. Yeah, I've seen some really, really compelling lectures on this. Kennedy was on his way to give a speech in Dallas, Texas. He was on his way. And that speech that he was going to give in Dallas, Texas, was to announce that he was going to launch a joint venture to the moon with the Russians. And the powers that be did not want to do that joint venture with the Russians. They considered the Russians or the Soviets our enemy. Kennedy was trying to bring about world peace, and he thought if we could come together and we could focus on one mission together, maybe we won't go to war. And that's what they didn't want him to say. Mm-hmm. So they shot him while he was on the way to make that speech. Mm.
He was doing a hell of a lot. I mean, add one more to the quiver. Of the enemies, of the stuff that he was doing to get people, the global syndicate, the New World Order, the controllers of the CIA pissed off at him enough to say, we need to get rid of this guy.
I mean, right now, the only other country that I know of.
They weren't going to give him his war in Vietnam.
That's fighting the global syndicate is Russia.
Right.
Russia's fighting the global syndicate. We're fighting the global syndicate. I'd like to say Australia, but they're not. Australia's deep in all this stuff with the Five Eyes.
Yeah,
I put Australia in with Canada. That's where I put.
And we can't trust Britain at all.
No.
So it's Russia.
Yeah.
And Victory Day was this weekend, wasn't it? Victory Day in Russia.
May 1st, May Day.
Yeah. Is that Victory Day for Russia? They have a fund out there called the Russia Oil Acquisition Fund or something. I don't know what the A stands for.
Asset.
Yeah. And it sells for about 4,000 of a dollar.
Half
So
a
it's like
penny.
$0.004.
Half a penny. You know that.
Oh no, it's not even close. If it went to half a penny, believe me, I'd make a lot of money.
They don't
It's
even make
like
pennies anymore, Brooks. What are we talking?
well, you could buy about 14,000 shares for that's how cheap it is. After the 13th of this month, Russia is going to make an announcement using that ROAF to fund something. I don't know what it's going to be, but something. And the rumor is that that's going to go to $1, maybe a little more, $1.10, $1.20. If it goes to $1, I make a pretty good penny.
Where do you buy it?
You can buy it
Through
on
chat.
Schwab, or any normal broker will be able to sell
SoFi,
you.
Bob.
I bought
Schwab.
mine on Coinbase.
Yeah.
I bought mine on Coinbase.
You can get Schwab, SoFi, obviously Coinbase, like Brooks said.
It's ROAF is the symbol, and also the SpaceX IPO is coming up.
But they're not allowed to do anything we do, Brooks.
No, yeah, but
That'd be financial advice, and YouTube will ban us. So you cannot. Brooks and I are telling you not to do anything that
I did.
do it. Yeah.
So I did my own research, and I tried to get into ARKVX, and you can't do it. It's a huge mutual fund, and you just can't buy into it. But there is a symbol ARKX, ARKX.
Yeah.
And you can get to that through Schwab or SoFi or any place else. I bought my shares of that company for about $33 a share. The rumor is that it's equivalent of buying Amazon for 17 cents. So it's going to be the most expensive public offering in history. It's going to be about $1.25, $1.3 trillion.
Is this related to data center?
Yeah, but SpaceX is not a rocket company. What's going to happen is they're going to merge
AI,
Tesla Motors into it, and Starlink.
Yep.
And the fact that they make rockets is incidental. Starlink is the big cash cow. I don't know how much they make. $300 million a day or something like that with Starlink.
And that's an international Wi-Fi internet aspect.
Yep.
Yeah.
He's got all the satellites. He's got, I don't know how many, 6,000 satellites in space right now. But that's what's going to happen. And now, once that happens, now NASA is going to contribute $20 billion, which is basically lunch money for a year. That's it, lunch money for a year. $1.3 trillion is the kind of money you need to build a lunar colony. And I think that's where SpaceX is going. The fuel tankers are built, the starships are built, the heavy, super heavy's built. They're going to go through a couple more test flights this summer. They need to do some things that they have not done before, like they need to, first of all, do a couple orbits with Starship. They haven't done that yet. Low Earth and high Earth. High Earth is about 500 miles up. Then they need to do another maneuver, which is to connect Starship to a fueler, to refuel it in space after it gets up into orbit and does that, which means they also have to launch a fueler, a tanker, into orbit. And then they need to rendezvous. And that's a big deal. Once that happens, oh my gosh, so many other pieces already in place. The space carrier is already built. And inside the space carrier are a couple hundred GPS satellites. And what they're going to do is move this space carrier to orbit around the moon. And then they're going to release the GPS satellites, which are going to assume orbits around the moon. And then they're going to put the base units onto the moon. And then we have GPS satellites, and we can start landing remote stuff on the moon on a regular basis.
Yeah.
Okay, Brooks. So let me bring it down a little bit for most of us here. Is that one of the big issues is to get material off of the surface of the Earth into orbit. And
Yes.
that's one stage. And then once you're able to stabilize that in orbit, then it's a different process to take it out of orbit and take it into orbit around the moon or Mars or wherever you're going to go.
That's right, and that's where the refilling in space comes in.
Right.
To start in orbit, but it won't have enough fuel to get to the moon and back. It needs to be refilled with fuel so that it can make it to the moon and back. And the tankers are already built. They're already built. They're already sitting on their pads.
And to bring it down to Earth terrestrial issue, it's like some of our big bombers, right, flying out of, New Mexico, Arizona. They're flying across the Atlantic or the Pacific. They need to be refueled midway through to continue on into their, their mission issue there. And so, I hear what you're saying.
Hey, you guys, I'm sorry, Brooks. There's three of you. Just let me answer this phone thing real quick, and I'll be right back with you. You guys keep going. The three of you.
All right. Hello.
Good question, Brooks. How when you think of the energy, because I'm referring to your expertise. How can we have nuclear submarines, nuclear aircraft, just nuclear? Why do you need all this rocket fuel, whatever? How you can't, in other words, you can't harness the energy produced by a small, low level, whatever. I mean, isn't that why is that not a possibility?
You could in space. You could in space because you can accelerate very slowly in space. You can use ion drives and things like that. Yes, nuclear power would give you, plenty of thrust in space to get up to speed. It would take a while, a month or so. But to get off the planet, you need way more acceleration than nuclear power would give you.
Okay.
Ion drives will not get you off the surface. Ion drives work on very, very fast particles, but very, very light particles. So the formula is, of course, mass is equal to force times acceleration, right? So acceleration is equal to mass over force, right? That's the mathematical formula. If you have little tiny mass, you don't get much acceleration. That's the issue. You can get close to the speed of light out the back end, but if what you're sending out there are like xenon particles, you're not going to go very fast.
What about lithium crystals, man? Captain Kirk is always worried about landing on a planet with some lithium crystals.
Yeah, I don't know anything about lithium crystals in reality. The cheapest fuel that we have right now is methane. Hydrogen is, of course, plentiful, but the issue is it's very small and it's hard to contain. And in order to get it in liquid form, it has to be under tremendous pressure and really low temperatures, like over 200 degrees below zero. It's very hard to handle. Liquid methane, that's no problem. You get that at the campground. Compressed natural gas is dirt cheap. And that's why Elon Musk was absolutely brilliant at building the Raptor and powering it with methane, liquid methane and liquid oxygen, way more efficient than liquid hydrogen.
What is this element? What is it? Element 15? Or
115?
Yeah, 115.
Yeah, this is something that was brought up by a character whose name is Bob Lazar. Element 115 supposedly has what's called internal gravity and external gravity. And the internal gravity apparently can be lensed, but it doesn't mean much because you have to be in a gravitational field for it to work. So, and a drive like that, if you build it big enough to have enough lift, you say, I don't know, 10,000 newtons or something like that to get something up off the ground. it would only work as long as you're near Earth gravity. Once you're outside of Earth, it's useless because there's no gravity to lens. There's nothing to oppose. So the patent for anti-gravity drive, and I've read the patent several times, it's a naval patent, requires something called exotic matter to work. Well, exotic matter is typically what we call neutron star matter. So I'm trying to put this in perspective, that a teaspoon of iron, weighs about 4 ounces, right? A teaspoon of neutron star material weighs about 22 million tons.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So you'd have to go to a neutron star to get it. But you'd never get away from the neutron star because it has so much gravity. You would, it's like trying to launch off the surface of Jupiter. Even Jupiter. Then if you did get away with it and brought it back to Earth, the instant you landed on Earth with it, it would plunge itself through the core, or through the crust, and go right to the core of the Earth. It just can't be handled. So exotic matter is not practical.
Well, I remember showing a little video to some of my chemistry. These are 11th graders taking high school chemistry, and it was talking about a nucleus or an atom, and it was talking about the electron fields and how you talked about a teaspoon weighing, 22, tons or whatever the issue is. And it said, hey, so if you have your nucleus sitting at the middle of the football field, the first orbit of electrons, are somewhere kind of around, the 30-yard line or something like that. Yep. And the second ring of electrons are in the kind of the low seats, the hundredths level. And the third level of them are way up in the nosebleed section. And then the fourth level of electrons are way outside the stadium. So you think about all that void,
Yeah.
And what you're doing is you're compressing that down to a very small amount. And then all of a sudden, wow, this is going to be extremely dense, extremely dense. And so that's what you're talking about.
Yep.
So what were the aliens using to propel their vehicles?
Well,
I'm going to have to go to the little boys' room on that one.
All right. Well, there's three of us. You can go do that.
That's the number 2 question that we want to ask if we have alien, non-human entities. Number 1 is, where did you come from? And number 2 is, how did you get here? So this disclosure that's taking place right now with a few blurry globes and some snapshots, it's nothing. It's just something to appease the masses. We've seen all this stuff before. What we want to see is the ship. We want to see if there's an off-world ship here on this planet, how did it get here?
Brooks, you got your phone on you, like readily available? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm just going to text you something, and let's keep talking.
Okay.
But that's a great question by Bob right there, and so Bibby, you want to expound upon your question for Brooks while I do this little texty poo?
Yeah, well, I mean, just full disclosure, that's a big thing. Project Bluebeam. I mean, we think about operations, and it's a multifaceted. It goes everywhere when you're talking about the company. Mm-hmm. Who really controls what you see here or whatever. I'm a historian. My thing was history, and I've gone back. And unfortunately, I had a grandmother who was a teacher during the Depression. Went to USC, and women didn't do that back then in the 19 teens and 20s. and I read books. I was an avid reader, and she had a library. So most of the books that I read by 1972, I had read books that were 60 years old, 50 years old at that time. So when I went to public school, I was, accelerated, but I had a hard time with what was my major, was history, and I was calling teachers in elementary school liars. That's how convinced I was of the things I've read. And I will say this, and I still have a lot of those old books. They're fine books. But I've seen history in the search for truth. Why? Where, and it's not Indiana Jones. I was history out before that. And I did want to be an archaeologist, man. Let's get to the bottom of it. Let's do some digging. Let's put in some, because the question has always been why. And I've come, as I've gotten older, very fortunate to be where I've been and done what I've seen and, all that kind of stuff. But it's still as vague as it was then because I've seen history change before my eyes. In other words, they don't write books anymore. It's all on the internet, and one day it's there, and the next day the story changed, and that's how history will be recorded.
Yeah.
And it troubles me because it's all been I've been very disappointed with what I've seen, but that's what the future generations will see as a
Well,
fact.
and history, is vital. Like right now, the Supreme Court is considering birthright citizenship. So if you go back to history and you read the 14th Amendment, it's pretty clear. If you look at the lawsuit that was filed and passed and the act that was passed to give Native Americans birthright citizenship, that's pretty clear. If you go and review the text of the Kim Wong decision in 1898 that allowed a Chinese man to get back into the country because he sued because he was born here. And he was not a Chinese immigrant. He was he was born here in the U.S. But the language of the legal decision is very specific. None of those give birthright citizenship to people who were just happened to be over our border and that gave birth. But it's 138 years of precedent. And so what they've tried to do with those Democrat precedents and the abuse of these laws and the amendment over the last 138 years is change history. And what SCOTUS has to do is they have to be originalist. They got to be originalist. They got to go back to the original 14th Amendment and make the right decision.
Right. The idea is that they're saying, hey, we've gotten away with this inappropriate interpretation for 130 years. You need to let us continue to move forward with this precedent that was unfounded.
Right?
That reminds me of Robert York.
Oh, getting borked?
He was an originalist. He actually, there was at least one or two justices that were under him, the clerks under him before. Oh, wow. So, power of the Supreme Court, originality or originalist, I get it, but it's really political. I mean, just look at who Biden and Obama put on the court.
Oh, Brown. Crazy. Insane.
And they're turning the Supreme Court into the Chicago mayor, LA mayor, New York mayor roles. That's where they go. And
That Mondavi dude, you bring up mayors. That fucking Mondavi dude, Zoran, is it Zoran Mondavi? Did you just see what an ad he put out? I mean, we were talking about Donna Deegan earlier. If she puts an ad out, I don't know. She puts an ad out. The entire country doesn't know about it. This dude, this is national news. That Mondavi, New York City mayor dude, just stood in front of David Griffin's house. No, last name Griffin. Ken Griffin's house. It's a billionaire. Blah blah blah. And stood outside of his house making a video saying that he's going to tax all these people who own houses in New York City.
Second houses.
Yeah. What a douche. This person is. What's he going to do, Brooks? And what's he going to do? He's going to destroy New York City even further by making these people who bring money to the city to finally get the hell out of there.
Do you
6
think
months.
that's what the company wants? Because it sounds like put him in office. Yeah, it's me.
6 months. I give him 6 months and New York will be bankrupt. Maybe a year.
That's company money's got a bet on it.
Maybe so.
They put him there.
Make Florida and Texas the financial hub of the country, you know, for all I care at this point, because they're all going to move there in Tennessee.
Well, this mass migration isn't really good in the long run, because what you're doing is you're creating hyper blue areas. And then, because Florida's already red, North Carolina's already red, Texas is already red. So if you pull more red folks out of blue areas, you just expand the borders of the blue cities.
Yeah.
I look at Mondani and New York the same way I look at Cannes and London. And in Cannes and London, that was the precedent.
Yep.
Conquered the largest city in the world.
Stand by, Brooks, on your answer. Let me get with Tony.
Okay. I just change horses. It should sound the same. I think one of them is the laptop and the other one's the microphone on this headset right here. So I think I switched to that should be better.
Roger that, Brooks, real quick with our text.
Okay.
I hear what you say, Brooks, about the ideas of all the Republicans and or independents leave some of these blue areas, we make hyper blue areas, but then again, they also will have less representation. That's part of it. I don't know. The idea is that people are going to migrate and, based off of, and that's why you got the 10th Amendment, about, the different states and those types of things. I don't know what the solution to that is. I surely wouldn't want to tell someone that they couldn't leave New York, So.
But it's bringing it's not just Keith, all I'm saying is and I'm not trying to, what I'm saying is it's not just about Ken Griffin, for example, saying, well, fuck it, I'll sell the second house in New York City. People are going to take their business elsewhere.
Right.
That's the deal.
Right.
But maybe Bob was right. Maybe the company wants. We want Escape from New York City to be real.
There you go.
Not a Hollywood movie.
Snake
Plissken.
There you
go. Bob was actually I'm just kidding. I was about to say, but they modeled Snake Plissken after Bob Boston.
Yeah.
Hey, you want a funny story real quick, guys, before we continue? Because, I like derailing shit for no reason. Just a real funny story. Talking about special operators on this show, David Rutherford. If you ever look up David Rutherford, he's been on the show numerous times. I got him on the show because he's Sean Ryan's best friend. So I was like, Sean, can we get David on? And so David, I had a phone conversation with David Rutherford and before he came on the show, and This was after the election was stolen, Brooks and Bob.
Yeah.
It's probably 2023 when we had David on, but he, he was really, like most special operators, very, very pissed at the election being stolen. Very, very pissed. And but he was great. He was great. Came on, great guest, awesome dude. And you should look up David Rutherford, and he's a huge motivational speaker now. He has froglogic.com. If you go to froglogic.com, at the Frogman, a Navy SEAL, all this jazz. But the reason why you need to look him up is because we talk about Escape from New York City. David Rutherford is the spitting image of a young Kurt Russell.
Oh, really?
I mean, exactly. They look except for David Rutherford's 6'2", but they look exactly the same. If Kurt Russell was, back in the day, like Snake Plissken. Holy shit, spitting image. It's funny as hell. It took everything in my power not to mention that on air because I didn't know what he was going to do. It's like, no, Kurt Russell was a good-looking guy when he was young. Come on.
Yeah.
Hey, Kurt Russell was doing Disney teen movies back in the late 60s, early 70s.
The computer that wore tennis shoes.
Yeah.
And he probably got around quite a bit before he met Goldie, so you never know.
Hey, you talk about Kurt Russell and David Rutherford. Kurt Russell is one of the few people in Hollywood that are outspoken patriots.
Yes.
I agree. Yeah.
Yeah.
They're few and far between because, let me say this. If you've noticed, any of the Hollywood, scene, usually their careers are over before they start talking because they're not stupid. They've been on casting couches. They know they've signed in NDAs. And when they get older, when they're out of it, and Kurt Russell was lucky. And there's been several. Mel Gibson was one.
Sylvester Stallone.
It's almost like, hey, you're a stripper. And you're talking shit about the club you work at, how they're watering down drinks, and and you don't do that, man. But when you're retired from it, or you're not getting the gigs anymore because you're not willing to do what they want. I get it, man. And when I see what's going on in the world, I think about my own self. Why do people do what they do? You've been elected to this position. Why can you not stand and deliver about whatever? Because
great movie.
Well, there's certain things that you're willing to die. Charlie Kirk died for his beliefs.
Yeah.
That's all I'm going to say, man.
Well, that's what I was going to say about Tillman.
We wouldn't be where we are right now, and that's how I feel. And there's a reason he died, and we were talking about Kennedy earlier, and Charlie Kirk's assassination to me resonates as the same way that shot heard at Daley Plaza resonates inside the Beltway. The shot heard in Utah State Valley or wherever the hell it was in Utah, where Charlie Kirk was assassinated in broad daylight. That was a message to, well, who was that a message to?
Everyone else shut the fuck up and don't do what Charlie was doing.
Well,
or just simply to shut him up because of how effective he was. But yeah,
I'm going to say this again, Bob, because you brought it up. Brooks Agnew, Dr. Agnew, said it best because obviously after Charlie was murdered, we were talking about that a lot, and I'm glad you brought it up because we need to continue talking about it. The country kind of the memory of a goldfish a lot of times, and then people just don't talk about stuff anymore. But Dr. Agnew, Brooks Agnew said it. You said it, Brooks, the best when that first show that we talked about Charlie, and you said Charlie was the best of us.
He was the best of us. He wasn't the only one. There are a lot of us out here that do what he does. but he was the best of us. And I don't know how, but thank God he did get the funding to get that national stage. And as soon as he started getting big name politicians like Ted Cruz and President Trump and others to come to Turning Point, it exploded. It exploded. But he wasn't alone. He wasn't alone. We're all out here. There are hundreds of us. There's Scott McKay. There's me. There are dozens and dozens I could name right now. But Charlie was the best of us.
I sent Chad a little YouTube video today or yesterday, I'm not sure, talked about, the idea. I mean, how crazy is it that 48 hours after Charlie was assassinated, and we all agree he was assassinated, there's zero doubt about that, is that there was speculation or discussion that it wasn't from a shot, but from a explosive in his clip-on microphone that didn't go exactly where they thought, and there was fragmentation in the cement in and around where he was sitting at that college campus. How could you possibly send contractors out there to demolish that whole area and lay sod? That's the most insane thing I've ever heard of, is 48 hours after.
They dug up the side and made concrete.
Yeah, they did not want it investigated. They didn't want the back film and the side film. And that's why they grabbed all the cameras. Right after it happened, they reached up and grabbed all the cameras. We've never seen that footage. It's gone.
Right. I mean,
No, you think they told you.
stinks to high hell. I'll tell you that.
Well,
Bottom line, I'm going to say it again. The moment that happened, Booby, you just straight up said, hippie, that was a professional hit.
Yep.
yeah, right, it was.
Yeah.
You don't remember me taking out one of my Carcanos in the arsenal, showing you
Yeah.
what Lee Harvey Oswald was supposedly accused of doing?
Yeah.
Something those rounds.
Yeah.
And by the way, they say Marine sharpshooter. Man, that's the lowest level of qualification for a rifle. That's what
Isn't it?
you have to be a fucking sharpshooter to or marksman or whatever. I can't remember, but I'm an expert, so I don't fucking know.
Marksman is first and then sharpshooter second.
There you go. So he was a marksman, dude. He was a marksman, and like that was some shit. And I'm sitting there holding the same fucking weapon, and dude, you were there.
I was there, yeah. Bob was cycling it off and saying this is fucking impossible. Because Bob's a couple grades above a marksman and a sharpshooter, just a little bit above.
And the idea is that, what was it, 60 Minutes or someone did a pretty decent, I think, that the last bullet has to come in and hit and then ricochet off a bone and then jump 5 feet up and turn 40 degrees and then, I mean, it's insane to think.
I think we were going off the premise of 3 shots in 6 seconds or something with.
Yeah.
Right.
And you know what? We found out, Chad, that they had the best shots in the fucking world. And only out of 100 experiments, it could have been done twice by the best shots in the world. And we're talking. So anyway.
Right.
Digress.
Well, but that shot was so good that one of the bullets ended up on a gurney in pristine condition.
Oh, there you go. With a passport?
Yes.
Well, I think that gets back to this whole issue of the company.
It's just like Muhammad Atta's passport, and I'll shut up, Keith, and you're going back to the company. It's like Muhammad Atta's passport just happened to be found in perfect, pristine condition at the rubble of the World Trade Center.
Yeah,
of course.
I do hope that there's some accountability for Brennan and, some of those individuals.
I wouldn't
Clapper.
count on it, brother.
I wouldn't either. I mean, they're letting Fosse go. I mean,
Well, the truth of the matter is they all serve the same masters.
right.
And they cover for themselves, and that's the vampires rule. And I'd like to believe otherwise, but I don't think there's been a point in my life where I've actually seen the world I'm living in. Through all the fears that I've seen and faced, and I'm sitting there and I'm living in it, in a world that the world we grew up in no longer exists. That's all I'm saying. And it's not coming back. So, trust yourself.
I hope so. I hope 6 months from now the elections continue to move forward, that empower the current administration and then propel whoever who's going to succeed Trump and clear out as much as they can. I mean, maybe there are a lot of people.
Vance Rubio.
Maybe it's Rubio. Maybe
Vance
it's
Rubio.
DeSantis. Maybe it's J.D. Vance. Ever who it is. I hope the movement continues, and I love that idea of make America great as a movement. And I've said it here on the show is I love Trump. I think Trump's done a tremendous job. He's probably been the only person who's been effective enough and bold enough to be able to make the changes that he has. But this movement needs to extend beyond the next 2 years.
Well, to me, MAGA is just an extension of the Tea Party.
Yes.
A better version.
A bigger version. A broader version.
It was Ron Paul that before Trump, there was Ron Paul. Before Ron Paul, there was Ross Perot. And it's a vision that people buy into. I get that. You want to believe, you want to, and trust me, I get that. And you guys know, man, hey, man, you sign that shit, you're in a certain area of the world operating where, you're the enemy. You're on a mission. You think you're the good guy, but they don't. Ain't no time out. Hey, wait, man. Hey, what? Time out.
Time out. Wait a minute. Yeah. Time out. There is no timeout. This is a real world exercise going on. There ain't no timeout. Hey, Brooks, Bob mentioned something he said right there. Are you, Brooks, because I told Bob Brooks about the fact that you're a musician yourself, right?
Yes, I am.
And we all as me as a songwriter and lyricist and yourself and playing guitar, all this jazz music, and Bob's music IQ is fucking stupid through the roof. And what Bob just said right there made me write down something, because it's one of the greatest damn songs ever. Have you ever been a fan of Collective Soul, the band?
I think I've heard the name, but I couldn't say I'm a fan.
You would know their songs like December. You'd probably have to hear the songs, but you would hear the songs and you would know right away, like December. Turn your head now, baby, try to spit me out. Don't think about.
Oh, sure, yeah.
So you know Collective Soul. They got a lot. There's a song called "The World I Have Known," and when Bob was talking about the world I know, and Bob, you know that song by Collective Soul. Where's the world I have known?
Yeah,
it's a beautiful fucking song. Everyone should go look it up, but don't. You're not allowed to. YouTube will ban us. Only Brooks and Bob and I are allowed to, and Keith. But as a musician, a fellow musician, Brooks, the entire, I mean, just music is absolutely incredible, and there's so much that you can find. Like when Ed Roland, who's the lead singer of Collective Soul, he's a Southern guy. It's a Southern band at the end of the day, and I watched this entire interview with him and Rick Beato on YouTube, and you know how he wrote that first album, the album that everyone knows. He wrote every one of those fucking songs on that album while he was a sound tech in a studio. And when they got done with the because it was all analog back in the late 90s, early 90s, still analog, and the tape that they didn't use, he was allowed to cut, so he would cut the tape and then splice it together to make his own his own recordings. And so he wrote that first entire Collective Soul album that became this huge hit, and he had this demo, and then I forget whether it was Epic or which company it was. They wanted to sign him. He's like, well, I don't have a band. He played every instrument. He did everything, and so he had to go find a band. He had to find people so they could actually
make it.
Yeah, I mean, there's great stories out there with stuff like that with music. Period. But you'd be surprised. Me, you know, the whole with the folklore, jazz, and all this, and you'd be surprised how many awesome stories there are, but also how many bands there are out there who are fucking awake.
Oh yeah.
Maybe scared to talk about it, but totally awake. You think that every band out there is just, you know, some lefty.
Well, is it Nirvana's first? One of the guitar players ended up, he was SF, or remember that?
Nirvana,
yeah. One of their, he left the band before they hit it big.
Oh.
It's their first guitarist or whatever, lead guitar. And yeah, he went SF.
Yeah. I mean, Nirvana was a 3-piece once they got huge.
Yeah.
And then
that story is a great story, but my favorite one is Chris Christopherson.
One of the greatest songwriters.
He was a captain in the Army Air Corps or whatever. He was a captain, Rhodes Scholar. Stole an Army helicopter. No, this is not bullshit. Landed it on Johnny Cash's front yard there in it's outside of Franklin, Brentwood. Well, it wasn't Brentwood. It was outside of Franklin. And that's how Johnny Cash wasn't home, but he was a janitor at the studio where Johnny Cash was. Anyway, I love Chris Christopherson.
Hey, dude, him and Willie Nelson are two of the most prolific songwriters ever, that most people have no idea that they wrote those songs. They just love the songs by the artists that they think wrote those songs, but it was actually Willie.
In Willie's words, I get you. I love them both. I can understand his lifestyle, but knowing where Chris Christopherson come from, and yeah, he was an inspiration to the E4 Mafia and soldiers in the field. Truly, he was a rebel.
Brooks, who were the Highwaymen?
Was that?
It was Willie, right?
Eric Clapton.
Willie Whalen, Chris, and
Merle.
No,
Jennings
Merle.
and Merle Haggard.
Yeah.
No, Willie Whalen, Johnny.
Oh, that's right.
Johnny Cash, and Chris.
Yeah.
Oh.
Against the Wind, right?
No, that's Bob Seger.
Is that?
Yeah, that's Bob Seger. Another one of the greatest
Seger's
songs.
amazing.
Yeah, Bob Seger is one of the greatest songwriters of all time. Plain simple, plain simple, plain simple.
Absolutely.
Bob Seger, holy hell.
And I don't think he was company controlled.
No.
Unlike, but I like.
No, dude, company controlled has a lot to say about that. There's a great band that no one's ever going to know about after I say this because they're not going to look it up anyway, because they're not allowed to. Otherwise, YouTube would ban us. But Future Leaders of the World, holy shit, they used to be called Machina, and then they had to change their name from Machina because they were talking about the New World Order too much, and so they changed their name to Future Leaders of the World, which really isn't all that great of a name. But that album, just unbelievable how they just banged against the global syndicate, Brooks. Banged against it, totally awake. Then you take a band like Rage Against the Machine, who has a name that's Rage Against the Machine, but their guitarist Tom Morello is a raging leftist.
Raging for the machine.
Exactly. That's why they're not together.
It's kind of like our politicians taking APAC money.
Rage Against the Machine hates America.
Yeah.
Passion.
Yeah, it's sad. It's sad. Zach De La Rocha couldn't stay with the band, the lead singer, because because that guy Tom Morello is a raging leftist, and I remember when Barry got into office, Zach De La Rocha on stage said I'm just going to paraphrase, but I know he said it. I watched him say it. He said, "And Obama, if I found out you're working for the fucking New World Order," and Rage split up.
Won't do what you told me.
Yeah. I mean, Zach De La Rocha is a pretty damn awake individual, but the rest of the band, maybe not the drummer, he's actually a Republican and cool, but they're not together anymore because Tom Morello is a raging fucking leftist. Plain and simple. And Tom Morello will not be on this show.
You hear that, Tom? Bam.
I just got word that he refuses to come on this show now for some reason.
I think of that TV commercial that came out, and I think it was a Apple computer with the lady with a short haircut with a sledgehammer that runs up the aisle and throws the sledgehammer up against the big screen there. Where was Steve Jobs on all this? Was he awake? Was he woke? Where was Jobs in this whole situation?
In it to win it.
In it to win it. Part of it. Yeah. I mean, I'm pretty sure Gutenberg and those guys, not Gutenberg, but what's the guy's name who owns Facebook?
Steve Gutenberg from Cocoon?
Yeah.
How do these people just, and Brooks might know, he's probably got an idea. Just being a simpleton thinking.
You're talking about Pink?
These people are where they are because they took money from people and they might be the face of an organization. They might be the guy. But you know what? It's like NIL, name, image, likeness, man. It's just a character with an IMBD or whatever. And you can put all the blame on one person, but there's no way, in my way of thinking, that any of the things that they have done didn't happen without government cooperation. And when I say government cooperate, and the CIA is about 1,000 different branches. They've all got a purpose. So
yeah.
Go ahead, Brooks, with your response. You were. Yeah.
Well, I was going to say a lot of these artists, like when I was a kid, playing in a band, a young man playing in a band, we used to hang out at Henry Goodman's house. Henry Goodman was rich, and his son had a degree that he'd just gotten in music production. And he was working, I believe he was working for Columbia. And we had a band that came over to the house. They were practice, and they were a good bar band. They were a very good country bar band. Young guys, they all were good musicians, but they were just really above average bar band. But this Henry Goodman's son had this idea of marketing, and he thought, I can make this average bar band a superstar with my marketing. And that band, the guys that were hanging around me right there on the couch and playing in Henry Goodman's garage, was Alabama.
Ah,
So, you know what? And then
Sweet Home Alabama.
Let's talk about Kiss. Now, Kiss, their music is average bar band music, even though the guitarist Ace Frehley was actually a very, very good guitarist. He was as good as Eddie Van Halen.
Yeah.
But they sold a brand on stage that no one else was selling, and that's what made made Kiss so big. And they had moves that they introduced too that a lot of bands mimic now, but that was all original Kiss marketing. So it depends on how you sell yourself, whether you get that big name or not. But it does not mean that there are not good songwriters, really good musicians that never get discovered. They never get out there on the big stage. Look at Taylor Momsen right now. Okay, she should be a headliner by herself, but she's warming up for AC/DC. Now, will she make it the next round? I don't know. I don't know if her health will hold up or not. Very talented, very emotional, good writer, as good as Taylor Swift is, just on the opposite end of the scale.
Well, I think Taylor Swift's not.
Well, look at Taylor Swift, though. She's a very smart girl. She's cute. She wrote her own songs. She plays her own music. She took her music back away from the music company that ripped her off for 8 years, reproduced it herself, and she's now a billionaire. You cannot take away from Taylor Swift what she did. And I like her songs, and lots of young play those songs on the guitar. They're not that hard to play, which is a gift by itself.
Yeah, yeah. Taylor Mumford, is she the lead singer of Pretty Reckless, or am I getting that mixed up?
Taylor Momsen?
Mumsen, okay.
Yeah, she was the little girl in The Grinch That Stole Christmas.
Okay, so I'm
And
getting
her
that mixed
mother
up.
was immensely talented. She won every award you could win in music. So Taylor Momsen went on stage. She blacks her eyes out and she goes out kind of dressed trashy, but she sings amazing and her lyrics are very powerful.
I'm going to have to look her up. I'm confusing her with the lead singer chick of Pretty Reckless.
It is Pretty Reckless, right?
Oh, it is her. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Reckless.
Dude, she's like, Bob, if you haven't heard Pretty Reckless, that's one of the most kick-ass new bands out there.
It is. I've got tickets to see Baby Metal when they're finally coming to the United States. I got tickets to see them in September. Japanese metal band.
Yeah, who's the all chick band we were talking about? They got a great name. They got a great name, and their bass player is hot as shit.
Oh, you're talking about The Warning?
Yes, The Warning. What a great
now,
fucking
The
name.
Warning are actually, they're sisters from Mexico, and their parents are actually amazing people. I've written to them, they've written back to me. I've watched them grow up over the years. They came from Mexico, came to the United States, started warming up for their bands. They're basically a copy band.
Yeah.
But they do write some of their own stuff, and their parents have been very good with them, keeping them out of drugs, out of all that shit. And The Warning has actually done really, and where they got their, I guess their shot in the arm, is they do several Metallica songs. And so I think Metallica let them warm up for them one time, and that gave them the shot in the arm. So The Warning is also coming to the United States. I don't have tickets to see them because they're not coming to Charlotte. But yeah, very talented. 3 Mexican sisters. One plays bass, one plays drums, and she's a very good drummer. And the other one's the lead singer and plays lead guitar and rhythm guitar. They look the same, sound the same. They're amazing.
Bob, this is Brooks. This is gonna shock the shit out of Bob. Okay, Bob.
Yo,
I'm going to tell you right now that Dr. Brooks Agnew is a huge Tool fan.
get the
Oh yeah, I like Tool. Yeah.
Yeah. But listen, Brooks likes the heavy shit. He likes
I
all
do.
kinds of great music.
I like Testament. I like. I've seen all the heaviest metal band, death metal, speed metal. I like all the metal bands, pretty much that are out there. The harder they shred, the better I like them. But I also like the twist. Like Baby Metal has these three little pixies, Japanese pixies, that do syncopated dance and singing, while the metal band is just shredding their asses off and just like just really really good. I've watched them for a number of years now, and I'm glad they're coming to the United States.
all right.
Go
Real
ahead, Bob.
question, Brooks, is what's your opinion of REM?
Well, REM is a little weird, a little wonky. They do a variety of songs, that have different meanings, like "Losing My Religion." Everybody sings that one. What's the other one that I sing? Fire. That song that they sing, "Fire." That's a pretty good song.
That's
Uh,
that's the end of the world as we know it.
All the Indians World as you know it, right? That's another good one.
This is going to surprise you
Yeah.
now, Brooks. This is going to surprise you now. See, I surprised Bob with the fact that you like Tool, and he said, "Get the fuck out." No,
Well,
Bob.
Tool has, Tool
No,
has a drum line that is really good. Their drummer is amazing, and their bass player is amazing. They're very
yeah.
hard to understand on stage because their singer's not really clear, as a lot of singers are, but their music is very syncopated, and they do well.
So, Brooks, this is where I now surprise you, since I surprised Bob about you being a heavy metal fan. You knowing a decent amount about Bob's background, his favorite rock band ever is REM.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
This one goes out to the one I love. That song?
Yep. That was one of them, but that was like the most.
Orange Crush. Or
Well, don't we all connect with music?
Oh, yeah.
I think there's something,
I didn't think of it.
there's something, and that's why music exists and has existed
oh,
for
fire. Yeah.
for millennials, right? I mean, millenniums. I mean, thousands of years music has existed. That there's some resonance with the human that music has.
Yeah. Well, I like Led Zeppelin, and I like another very
Don't we
talented
all?
band, Radiohead. What a range of songs they do! Wow.
Yeah. Don't get me started on Led Zeppelin, because that's just, in my opinion. I mean, people can talk about the Beatles all the fuck they want about blah 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 blah. I respect the Beatles, but if you're coming from that era, I understand they're a little bit after the Beatles, but Led Zeppelin, holy shit, Led Zeppelin. What an incredible band.
For four guys from different backgrounds that come together and have this magical chemistry, and the fact that they stayed together for so long.
Best
But when
drummer
they came
in the
together
world.
on stage, I watched them once live. When they come together on stage, it's a little hiccupy at first, and then it just gels, and the concert's amazing.
Well, I wasn't ever able to see Led Zeppelin live, man, but dude, I love their music. One of my favorite songs. Before we get out of here, guys, there's so many damn great Led Zeppelin songs, Brooks. But if I were ever to get married, okay, if I were ever to get married, my wedding song I would dance to would be "All of My Love."
Oh yeah, that's a good one.
That's
I like their blues too. I like "Since I've Been Loving You." Gosh, that's an amazing.
How about
song.
rock and roll?
Oh, come on.
Yeah.
That's a walk-in song. Too many people. It's unbelievable.
Yeah.
Stairway to Heaven is there, right?
Well, sure,
I sang the John Lennon song
Yeah.
one night. girl comes running up to me and she pulls up her sleeve and she's got a John Lennon tattoo on her arms and said that song was sung at her wedding.
Wow.
So I said, I'm doing it justice. She said, oh yeah, you are. I used to hang with this group here in Charlotte. We'd go around and sing different places, and there's a wedding singer. I only know by his name, Mike. What a gifted voice. Oh my gosh. I love to sing karaoke. But once you get out there and start hooking up with good singers, you find out where the good circuits are. We just basically singers in a concert. So guys come from Rock Hill up here, guys from Charlotte. I was too busy on the house in the last 3 years and didn't sing it at all. Maybe a couple times, but I'm going to get back into it.
You should, man. You should totally.
Absolutely.
Well, it's crazy. You get up there and there's 40, 50, sometimes 300 people in a place, and people don't know you. You get up. I'm this old, bald, fat guy, and I get up there and wave the song, and you look out and everybody's got their phones up and their lights on, and because I have a voice, singing for 50 years. I have a voice.
Looking forward to spending the night there at the Carriage House sometime here, Brooks. You'll take us out on the town.
Yeah,
We're going to be grass in about 3 weeks, planting the grass out in the front, and once that's the driveway, the rest of the driveway's poured, I got another 70 foot of driveway to pour. Then we're going to have our grand opening, and then everybody can come. The house can fit a lot.
Looking forward to it.
All right, guys, we're going to get out of here real quick. Bob, just stay right there. Thank you so much for coming on tonight, my man.
You got it, man.
Bob Austin is a very, very dear, good friend of mine, and I always thank his little brother for letting me go to school with his little, his little brother and I went to school, and I never would have met Bob if I didn't meet his little brother. And he's a great guy too, and I know every once in a while he checks the show out. So, I always think about you. I see you on the Facebook thing every once in a while. Brooks, if people go to brooksagnew.com, what are they looking for at brooksagnew.com?
First thing, you need to get all 13 of my books. They have been Amazon bestsellers for a reason, and they're all in audio. So if you're not a great reader, don't worry about it. I read it for you. But also, you can get health and aging products there, and some things that we've spoken about that you're seeing on social media. You don't know where to get it, but you know you want it. Go to my website, brooksagnew.com. Click on the blue button right on the front page, and it'll take you right to that site.
Very, very nice. Keith Temple, great show again tonight.
Thank you, Chad. Another great Saturday evening. Looking forward to next week again.
All right, Bob, Brooks, you guys, you know I love you both, and I'll be in touch with both of you very, very soon. As we get out of here for our elusive engineer, producer Tony, Scott Hare, Adam Mirth, you just heard Bob Austin, Dr. Brooks Agnew, Keith Temple. Until next time, let justice be done till the heavens fall. I'm Chad. This is the one and only Earth. Good night, Bob. Good night, Brooks.
Come on, 47. Calling you out, my man.
Do the dance.
I can do the 47 better than you.
I'm not even going to try.